Hello and welcome to another Crypto Insider interview. I am Vlad and today I'm speaking with Alex Mashinsky, who is the creator of the Celsius network, as well as an innovator in the field of TCP/IP. Hello, Mr. Mashinsky.
Hi, Vlad. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's VoIP, right? Not TCP/IP.
It's VoIP, but it uses TCP/IP. So yes, it's part of the protocol.
Okay, so I have so many questions to ask you right now. I'm not sure what I should begin with, but let's talk about the way I found out about you and your activity. And it was during the Milken Institute debate, which I found fascinating. You debated a representative of the US Reserve. I think his name is McIntosh.
Yes, there was the founder of Abra, which is a wallet company.
Yeah, Bill Barrett.
Yeah, and Nouriel Roubini, and we had a representative from the Federal Reserve.
Okay, so I noticed during the debate that you're basically the first crypto socialist I ever discovered. You talk about inequality, you talk about all these issues with the world wealth, and you talk about redistribution through cryptocurrencies. And that to me was an eye-opener.
Well, so I was born in Ukraine, so born in communism and grew up in socialism in Israel and spent 30 years in the United States. I tried all the three systems, economic systems that we have. And each one of them has its own set of problems, right? Obviously, communism does not work for most people, but the system has tried to create equality for everybody. Socialism is basically saying we're going to have a safety net for everybody, right? So we're going to catch anyone who is falling through the system or has medical problems or anything like that. And capitalism is a system that's is very good for the 1%, but not so good for the 99%, right? So really, humanity is struggling with coming up with an inclusive system that can be acting in the best interest of the 7.5 billion people that are living on this planet. And I view the blockchain powered by cryptocurrencies as the fourth system. So it's not that I am a crypto socialist. It's more that I think we can take the best ideas from the other three systems and create something that is for the people, by the people, versus lucky people like me who got to immigrate to the United States and do several startups and be successful, get to enjoy all the benefits, but most people on the planet don't have access to these opportunities.
Do you find any ideological common ground with Nick Szabo, who talks about social scalability?
So Nick is a good friend. He's based here in New York as well, and I think he is of a purist, meaning he believes that Bitcoin is the solution for everything. And my views, I agree with him at the high level on the ideas, but I think that the killer app or the blockchain that is going to enable everything I just talked about has not yet been invented.
Oh, okay. But it was much more about the idea that there are nearly 8 billion people living on this planet and the resources are very limited. And Mr. Szabo believes that blockchain and Bitcoin are going to enable a fairer and smarter distribution of resources.
Well, so fair and smart distribution is definitely the right thing. I would not say that we have limited resources. Just to give you an idea, in the United States, we throw away 1/3 of all the food we produce every year. Just throw it away because of expiration date, or because it wasn't consumed on time, or because it was prepared and not eaten completely, or whatever. So the amount of waste that the West generate, especially the United States of America, is just colossal. We can feed the entire planet just from the waste that the United States is producing.
I've watched you debate Nouriel Roubini, who is maybe the most vocal critic of cryptocurrencies, and I've seen you take on him during the Milken Institute debate, and then later during the Blockchain Super Show, which was maybe 2 months ago. And I found it fascinating that his views have evolved in time. It's not like he has these fixed ideas which he maintains. He still says that it's all a scam and it's a Ponzi and it's going to collapse at some point. But he has refined his arguments throughout time. Do you think that you contributed to this evolution of his?
Well, Nouriel is a very accomplished economist, and I think he's a very smart person, but he lives in this cocoon that is that the Western world created, in which basically we're all live in a inflationary system, right? I mean, all of the currencies issued by governments are designed to be inflationary. And by doing so, they are forcing people who make money to put that money to work. And the money has to be deployed into real estate or deployed into the stock market. Because if you just put it in the bank, you're going to lose 2 or 3 or 5% on it just from inflation. And the piece that he doesn't understand is that the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are deflationary currencies. They, by design, they're designed to do the opposite of what the dollar, the yen, or the euro are designed. So all of his arguments are comparing Bitcoin to an inflationary currency, which is, it's comparing apples and oranges, right? So I always tease Nouriel by saying that he first should buy his first Ether or Bitcoin, and then he can tell us how it works. Because someone who has never used it for commerce or has never invested in it, who just sits there and tells us how it's bad or it's not going to do what it's supposed to do, is not really the best person to educate us or explain to us why it's a scam or why it's the best thing on the planet. So I think the opportunity here, like anything else on the planet, everything could be used for good or bad. And the question is, what are we using these cryptocurrencies for? And today, unfortunately, and I've been saying that for several years, we do not have a killer app, neither for Bitcoin nor for Ethereum. And without a killer app, like Voice over IP, for example, which is a killer app for the internet, you cannot have a scale. You cannot add 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion people who are actually using stuff every day. Like this conversation we're having was completely like a dream back 20 or 25 years ago. It would cost several dollars a minute to transact, to create a video conversation with VoIP over any kind of data line. And the idea that this could be done for free over great distances and billions of people could do it at the same time was completely foreign. And so I think that people with very limited imagination are always leaning towards defending the systems that they know. And as an example, I can tell you that if you look back at history and you look at every currency that has ever been issued, many of them became the reserve currency of the planet and then they disappeared. And one great example is the US dollar. The US dollar started as an illegal coin minted by 6 colonies against the powers of the United Kingdom, right? It was illegal. That's why the British sent an army to the United States to fight the locals to basically stop and tax and what they wanted to continue taxing them. So this illegal coin became the reserve currency of the planet. And that was completely unconceivable. And the same way, this new illegal coin, which we call Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency, in many countries they're illegal, like China, could become the next reserve currency of the planet.
I think that's something we don't really think about in terms of origin stories, because at some point in our past, many of the inventions that we take for granted and we have established as part of our system have been illegal, and it took some time for people to embrace them and adopt them as, in the case of money, as means of exchange or store of value. But let's go back to Nouriel Roubini, because I remember during the debate that you offered to give him some coins and he refused, but I'm not sure what happened afterwards, if he gave up and said, okay, just send me some coins so I can see how they work?
Look, Nouriel gets paid to do his speeches, so he doesn't really care about the industry. He gets paid to show up and say bad things about crypto, and he makes a good living out of it, right? So I don't think that he is interested or inclined to investigate as to the validity or viability of any of these coins.
Okay, that's the diplomatic answer. Well, I'm going to ask you about the current bear market, and if you think there is any logical correlation with the fact that we're having much more mainstream financial adoption. We hear about all these ETFs and all these institutions like Backed, which promise to open trading desks, but at the same time, there is no following in terms of price increase. So we have lots of good news in terms of development and in terms of
Right.
adoption, but nothing to follow up in terms of growing the price.
Well, so the problem that the industry is having is that you had very quick adoption of retail users during 2016 and 17. Millions of people showed up from fiat land to crypto land, thinking that they could just open an account, go on any exchange, and buy some coins and become millionaires, right? So, and as long as other people showed up and bought coins after them, that was true. But when everybody's trying to run to the exits at the same time, what you're seeing is everybody with weak hands basically dumping their coins in the market no matter what the price is. And you're seeing liquidations because of margin, like on BitMEX and other places where people bought 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 5-to-1, and basically they have to sell or be liquidated because they don't take action. All these people are leaving crypto land back to fiat land, with empty pockets. And I think what you're going to have left are people that are true believers, people that are looking for this for the long term. And most institutions that I speak to, and Celsius Network works with a lot of institutions, most institutions have not started buying coins. They may have set up an account, they may have even put a few coins in the wallet, but they've not really started accumulating assets. And the people you're talking about, like Fidelity or the New York Stock Exchange or others who announced that they're going to be trading, are all talking about 2019, not really 2018. So I think there's going to be a wave of adoption of new institutions coming in. But before that, we're going to see a flush of all the remaining speculators, right? We have 3 waves of adoption. So 2008 through 2011 was all anarchists. Then we had a second wave of 11 through 15, which was mostly libertarians, people who thought they can solve all the world's problems with Bitcoin or Ethereum. And the last wave we have was all speculators. And the funny thing is that these 3 groups don't really talk to each other. They don't like each other. They don't work together. So you cannot have a community. And we have very few women in crypto as well, right? We have maybe 5%, maybe 7% women. It's all men who are not really here to make the world a better place. They're here just to try to make some money. So I think when you're going to have more people join for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons, again, it's not going to be the anarchists, it's not going to be the speculators, but people that actually want to have a financial future, people that think of it as a long-term investment, and that's what's going to continue the rise of the coins. Also, when you're going to see some serious financial distress in the traditional world, like what you're seeing right now in Argentina or in Turkey or in Venezuela and other countries, that's going to drive adoption of cryptocurrencies because these people in those countries don't trust the local governments. They can't get their hands on dollars, and the only way for them to actually create value or retain value is by buying cryptocurrencies. So it's not that I'm wishing for a financial disaster, but I think that a financial disaster is going to be the best thing for crypto.
You have spoken about waves of adoption and how different individuals with very varied ideological standpoints have adopted Bitcoin at several points in time. And I noticed that nowadays you have people like Roger Ver or Eric Voorhees who more or less start to sell out and embrace their corporate mindset. We saw how Shapeshift didn't have any issues with creating a coin of their own and becoming KYC, even though it was against their ethos from the very beginning. And then we have Roger Ver, who basically took every chance just to maximize his profits. He was an investor in many startups in crypto, but it turns out that his interest was not necessarily to promote Bitcoin as a technology, but to be a major stakeholder in one version of Bitcoin, which he deems as more valuable for his own interests.
So yeah, look, you know what they say, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. And I think there are many people who were heroes in the crypto world who brought us up to date, who are not really, who have shown their colors. And most of them, when you dug deeper into why they're doing what they're doing, you found out that they are not there for the community. They're not there to help everybody else. Just a simple example, and Nick Szabo, for example, is an exception, right? He is a guy that's always been there for the right reasons, always done everything for the community. So I want to clearly differentiate him from everybody else that we talked about, right? But if you're looking at the founder of BitMEX, or if you're looking at even the founder of Binance, none of these people are here to help the community. They're all here to just line their pockets. So, and I urge your viewers to really pay attention to make sure that what people say and what they do is the same thing, because in many cases you will see that what people do contradicts what they say, and they're not here for the long term. They're here just for creating a quick buck and moving on to the next thing.
I noticed that unlike Tone Vays, who was one of the debaters in one of the conferences that you attended, you favor and seem to like Ethereum, whereas Tone Vays says that it's a scam, it's a pyramid scheme that's bound to collapse because it had such a big pre-mine since day one, and it's not very decentralized. That's his argument against it. But what do you like so much about Ethereum, and what do you think about the competitors like Tezos and Tron and EOS and Cardano and whatever? I think I can name 5 more.
So look, first, Celsius Network does not pick winners and losers. Our wallet supports 8 different blockchain, and we are planning to support all 20 top blockchains. So we are not shifting the community left or right, up or down, right? Our job is just to enable people to earn interest on their deposits, right? So enable them to earn a return on their coins, and enable them to get a loan, or as well as easily transfer coins to each other. These are the services we provide. We could care less if it's a EOS, or if it's Bitcoin, or if it's Ethereum. But in the general sense of the community, first, there are usually more than one winner. So I'm not here sitting and saying, oh, Ethereum is the best thing since sliced bread, nothing else will be successful. I think there is an opportunity for multiple communities to exist. Today, the Ethereum community has the most developers, has the most code, it has the most working projects that are actually being used for anything. And because of that, I view them as having enough gravity to create like an orbit of successful companies around them. So they have over 1,000 projects, and over 10,000 developers who every day are working to both improve the Ethereum protocols as well as create applications on top of it. So I'm not supporting or cheering just one project. I just really like how Ethereum as a foundation created a lot of value for the early adopters, both the mining guys as well as the people who came in and bought coins and built their projects on top of Ethereum. I think it's a model or case study for many, many other projects to come after. Celsius Network partnered with Stellar. We work with EOS. So we are here to support the community where we believe that all these efforts are true and pure efforts who are furthering the opportunities on the blockchain. And I'm focused on the public blockchain. There's a lot of efforts by the banks and by insurance companies and by other VCs on the private blockchain, which are really not focused on creating a solution for the 8 billion people on the planet. They're just trying to create more profitability for IBM or for JP Morgan or for Microsoft.
I think you took a step ahead because I was about to ask you about the Celsius network, what it is and how it's different from a traditional bank.
Right. Well, so let me answer that, because the main thing that we are different, yes, we pay interest, yes, we issue cheap loans, but the main thing that we're different is that we take profits, which we generate through a variety of ways, and we give them back to the community in crypto. Almost every other project that you know, let's take Binance, for example. When Binance announced that they're going to make $1 billion in profit this year, that means that they're taking money out of your pocket, they're converting it into fiat, and they're shipping it outside of our community. They're not distributing it inside the community in the form of additional coins. You understand? So they are like a vacuum cleaner that is taking value outside the community. The same thing with BitMEX, and the same thing with most other financial projects. Celsius is the opposite of that. Celsius is saying to the community, let's get together, let's pull together all of our resources, create a proof of stake implementation, deploy these assets, and whatever comes in, most of it comes in dollars. Most of our borrowers pay us dollars. We then buy coins with them and give them to the community. So we do the opposite of what BitMEX does or Binance does or everybody else. So, and it's important that your viewers understand that, because when somebody says, oh, I'm here for the community, well, ask them, what are you doing for the community? How are you helping the community grow and become more prosperous and so on?
Okay, but would you say that Celsius is a bank?
What do I have? Celsius is what?
Would you say that Celsius is a bank for cryptocurrencies?
We are not a bank. No, we're you know, in most cases, banks are, you know, let's think about what a bank does, right? So a bank takes your money, right? It will only accept fiat currencies, right? It does not accept commodities. It then lends it to me, for example, right? It takes your money, pays you almost nothing for it, less than 1%, turns around, lends it to me on my credit card. When I charge my credit card, they charge me 25%. So they keep 24% out of 25%. That means they keep over 90% of the value, right? Just being a middleman. All they are is a toll collector. They're just a middleman in the middle, right? So when we are upset with Facebook or we are upset with Google, they don't take 90% of the value. They maybe take 10 or 20% of the value. You understand? So my point is that we don't really, most people in this world don't understand who's their friend, who's not their friend, and who they can trust and who they cannot trust. So, you know, the governments in most countries have given banks a monopoly, a legal monopoly to do what I just described. And that's why they're some of the most profitable companies in the world. Who has the shiniest, biggest buildings in every city? The banks. How can they afford to have these beautiful buildings? Whose money is it that they are taking away, right? It's your money and my money. So what cryptocurrencies are saying is something very different. Cryptocurrencies are saying value could be stored not just in the form of a fiat currency. They could be stored in other forms. And as long as we create a community that acts in the best interest of the community can pay itself 5, 6, 7%, which would be 5 times more, and charge half. Instead of charging somebody 25%, why not charge them 9%? That's what Celsius charges. So we collect 9%, we pay out 5 or 6%, everybody benefits. But we are not a bank.
So is this an alternative for people who want to store their cryptocurrencies? They can just hold them in their wallets and maybe stay anonymous to some extent. Or if they agree with KYC, they can basically deposit their cryptocurrencies and earn interest.
Well, we only want good actors. So we don't, if you're not willing to do KYC, there's a reason why you don't want to do KYC. And then we just decided not to accept you as a member of our community. We want a community of only good actors. And KYC is one way of figuring out who's a good actor and who's a bad actor. So if we have a community of good actors and everybody pools together their assets, if we have $1 billion, we can earn much more if we have $1 million. So what we're trying to do, just like big banks make a lot of money from using the capital that is deposited with them to make an earning, but the earnings go to the bank. They don't go back to the people that deposited the money. We use a lot of deposits to create earnings, just like hedge funds do, or just like other institutions who are not banks. But instead, the profits go to the people who gave us the money in the first place, or the value in the first place. So it's a model that is not new. It's not like we invented a new financial model. We take deposit, we pay interest, we deploy the coins. We only accept coins, we only deploy coins. So we don't touch fiat currencies, we don't touch dollars, we don't touch yen, we don't touch euros. You cannot buy coins from us.
So right now, if I have, let's say, one Litecoin or one Ethereum, one ETH, can I just deposit it and earn interest? And what are the
That's right.
rates?
If you open the app shows you what are the rates. So let's do that right now. So here is the Celsius app. You just go to the App Store, download the Celsius wallet. Celsius Network is the full name. And when you open it, it will show you all the different rates that we pay. So for example, right now, Bitcoin is 3.75%, Litecoin is 4.5%, Ethereum is 4.25%. And these change every week. The reason they change is that when we make more money, we pay out more money, so the rate goes up. When we make less money, the whole community makes less money, and then the interest rate goes down. So the interest goes up and down based on our ability to earn capital. And we have 3 basic services. You can deposit and earn interest, which we just showed. You can take a loan. So if you have assets and you have Bitcoin, but if you sell them, you have to pay taxes. With us, you can basically take a loan against the asset without paying tax on your earnings. And the third service is called Sell Pay, which allows you to send coins to any one of your friends. So I can send Vlad right now, for example, you want Celsius Cell token or Bitcoin? What do you prefer? I'll be more generous with the Celsius Cell token.
Okay, whichever you prefer. So just
Here,
for the record, I downloaded the application before we had this interview, and I set up the KYC and everything else. And
so I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you $50.
Oh,
I don't need
that's
to.
generous.
Very
Thank
generous.
you.
You see, since you're recording this, I'm very generous. So I don't need to know your wallet. I don't need to know if you have Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything else. I can just basically use social media. So in this case, I'm just going to use your phone number to send you something. And right, let's see how long it takes. I'm going to press the button right now. You tell me when you got it.
I got it.
You got it.
Yeah.
And where are you physically? Where are you physically today?
I'm in Romania.
In Romania, and I'm in the United States. So this is the world's fastest blockchain. It's instant, because unlike with other solutions where I have to call you first, get your wallet address, then I have to call you again, see if you're ready for a test. Here, I can send it to anyone, people that are on the blockchain, people that are not on the blockchain. So we think that this self-pay service really solves the issue of adoption by enabling anyone on the planet to receive or send cryptocurrencies, which today was not really available. Today, try to do that with someone who's not on the blockchain.
Oh, so which blockchain is it using? Is it built on Ethereum?
So this is using Ethereum, but if you're sending BTC, it's using the Bitcoin. And if you're sending Ripple, it uses Ripple. So today we support the 8 largest blockchains. but the self-pay service enables you to send stuff instantly, reserve it, and give it to the party who receives it when they actually register and open a wallet. And then we create a wallet for them on XRP, for example, or on BTC, or whatever was sent to them. So right now I sent you the Cell token. That's an ERC20 token. So when you open your wallet, or you already have it, it creates an ERC20 account for you, and then these $50 are deposited there. And if you never claim them, then the $50 goes back to my wallet a week later.
In this
So it's never lost.
ecosystem.
It's never
Okay.
lost. Where today, yes.
So what is the purpose of the ERC20 token in this ecosystem?
So the Cell token has 4 different utility functions. One of them is the exchange of value between the people that take loans and receive loans, and the people that make deposits. That's how we distribute value between them. So today, it does not have yet functionality in the wallet. That's coming up before the end of the year. But today you can basically use most of the functions of the wallet that I described without the Cell token.
Okay, I see that I've received. Okay,
Yes.
you can do it because I can cut it from the interview.
Sorry, yes.
Okay, so I have received the SMS, the text message for receiving the money, but I don't think this was added to the blockchain yet because my balance is still 0. So I guess it will take a minute or 2.
I think it's because you need to finish your KYC. I think the minute you finish your KYC.
I got my confirmation for
okay,
completing.
so then if you refresh your wallet, you should have you should see the balance.
Let me close it. I'll open it once again. It takes a while to load. Okay. I enter my PIN. It's still not sent. So I got the text message just for the record. It says, "Congratulations, Vlad, your profile." No, not this one. This one. Alex has sent you $50 in Cell. Click here to claim it in the Celsius network. Oh, so I have to claim it by opening this link. So this is the process, actually. I have to claim it. You didn't tell me, so I guess I was the one who wasn't attentive enough.
So I need to take a quick call. Can we do the second half after I'm finished with the call?
Sure. All right. Okay, so congrats, I've received the $50 at work.
Perfect. Yes. You're a rich man now.
Oh, yes.
All right, so we'll continue. I'll call you back in a few minutes, okay?
Okay, I'll be here.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.